Get this, a room full of shouting, haggling students. Could they actually teach us something profound about economics without even trying? Turns out they can. We're going to look at a simple experiment that reveals an incredible truth about how markets just work.
All right, first, let's set the stage for our mystery. And it all kicks off in what looks like a totally chaotic classroom.
So, picture this. You've got 16 students in a room. 8 of them desperately want a football ticket, and the other 8 have one to sell. The only instruction? Go make a deal. It's called a double auction, and trust me, it looks like an absolute mess.
Okay, but here's the kicker. Every single person in that room has a secret number. It's their reservation price. For a buyer, that's the absolute most they'll ever pay. For a seller, it's the lowest they'll ever accept. So you can imagine the person who'd secretly pay up to $44 is out there shouting that the tickets are worthless. And the one who'd sell for just $6, they're swearing these tickets are priceless. Everyone's playing their cards very close to their chest.
So there's your setup. It's just a big, messy pit of people all trying to get the best deal. And nobody knows anyone else's true number. So the big question is, how on earth can anything orderly or efficient come out of this? I mean, it seems totally impossible, right?
Well, to solve this little puzzle, we've got to bring in our main suspect, the classic theory of supply and demand. But here's the thing. It's a lot weirder than you probably think. Okay, check this out. There's this huge disconnect between what's actually happening in the room and what the theory says should happen. In the real world, you've got yelling, arguing, people desperately trying to push the price up or down. But the economic model, it assumes the complete opposite. It's like a single price just appears out of thin air, and everyone just has to accept it. They're called price takers. They have zero power.
I mean, that's a real paradox, isn't it? The entire point of the experiment, everything we see, is people fighting over the price. But the theory that's supposed to explain it all starts by assuming nobody talks about the price at all. They just take it as a given. So you have to wonder, how could a theory that's so completely backwards possibly be right?
Well, get ready for this. It turns out that this totally backwards theory, it doesn't just kind of work. It nails it. It solves the mystery with stunning accuracy. This is the invisible hand, right here in action. All right, so let's take all those secret numbers that nobody knew and just plot them on a graph. And what you see is amazing. The blue steps, those are the buyers. That's what we call a demand curve. See how it steps down? That makes sense. The higher the price, the fewer people want to buy. The orange steps are the sellers, and that's the supply curve. It steps up because, the higher the price, the more people are happy to sell.
And now, look right there. See where the blue steps and the orange steps cross? The theory predicts that that exact spot is the market's center of gravity. It's the equilibrium price. And based on all that secret info, the model points to a price of right around $25.
So the big question, did reality match the crazy theory? You bet it did. Almost perfectly. The theory predicted a price around $25, and in the actual experiment, the deals were made between $20 and $25. The theory also said the 5 buyers who wanted it most would get the tickets, and the 5 sellers who could sell for the least would make the deals. And what happened? 9 out of those 10 exact trades actually went through. Just like that, order came right out of the chaos.
And this is the real aha moment. Think about it. There was no one in charge. Nobody in the room knew all the secret numbers. And yet, the market acted like what the economist F.A. Hayek called a great calculating machine. It just sucked up all that hidden information, and through the haggling and the shouting, it spit out a price that put the tickets in the hands of the exact people who valued them most. That is the most efficient outcome you could possibly get.
Okay, so we've cracked the case of the classroom experiment. But what does this powerful little model teach us about the economy as a whole? What are the big lessons here?
Well, the crucial takeaway is that this one simple experiment reveals 3 really profound truths. First, markets can be incredibly efficient. Second, prices aren't set by the average person, but by the person right on the edge, the marginal trader. And third, prices themselves are a super powerful way of communicating a ton of information.
So let's break that down, starting with efficiency. The market, all on its own, did exactly what a genius central planner with perfect information would have wanted. It maximized the total value for everyone by making sure the tickets went to the people who wanted them the most. That's Adam Smith's famous invisible hand right there.
Second, and this is a really big idea in economics, is this concept of the margin. The final price wasn't set by the super eager buyer willing to pay $44. No way.
It was set by the people who were kind of on the fence, the ones who were almost indifferent. That's the buyer who valued the ticket at just $26, and the seller whose cost was $22. They are the marginal traders, and it's their indecision that actually sets the price for everybody else. Pretty wild, huh?
Okay, so now that we have this powerful new tool in our belt, thinking on the margin, let's use it to solve one of the most famous puzzles in all of economics. I mean, a classroom experiment with some football tickets is one thing, but what does any of this really tell us about the actual real world? You know, with billions of transactions for all sorts of complicated stuff.
Well, it helps us crack Adam Smith's famous water-diamond paradox. He was puzzled by this. Why is water, something we literally cannot live without, so ridiculously cheap? And why are diamonds, which are pretty much just shiny, useless rocks, so insanely expensive?
And the answer is simple once you get it. The market doesn't care about a thing's total value to humanity. It only cares about its value at the margin. The price you pay reflects the value of the next glass of water or the next diamond, not their overall importance to our survival.
Just think about it for a second. Water is everywhere, right? So the value of one more glass of water is, well, basically zero. You wouldn't pay much for it. But diamonds? They're super rare. So the value of getting your hands on just one more diamond is incredibly high. The market isn't choosing between life and luxury. It's just pricing the next glass against the next stone. It always prices the margin.
So here's the big takeaway. Prices aren't just random numbers. They are incredibly powerful signals, just jam-packed with information that coordinate what millions of people do, all without anyone calling the shots. It's like the invisible engine of our economy. But, you know, this experiment described a pretty perfect machine. So what happens when you take this idea and throw it into the real world of finance, with all its leverage and speculation and crazy volatility? Does that machine still work quite so perfectly?